Let me share my screen, and maybe before that, I would like to congratulate the center and especially Professor Pradeep. I think this is yet another example of his leadership, perseverance, and scientific excellence, because it needs someone to have not only a dream but see it through. And I think he is an example for all of us to follow. And I certainly understand how much effort and headaches and heartburn it would have taken to reach this point. And seeing the progress that ICCW has made, I am very proud that this is one of the top centers of our institute. What I will do is thank you for inviting me, and I will share a few slides on one of my pet projects now, or endeavors to look at water in construction and see if we can save drinking water that is used a lot for construction purposes. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. So I titled my talk as the water footprint of concrete construction. And this has consequences for countries like ours, where we have very little water available, drinking water available, and we have to fight for it. In other countries, they don't worry so much about water because Western countries have an abundant supply of water. When we talk about water, the first thing that many of us, especially coming from Chennai, know is about the water shortage. We are always worried about where our next bucket or tank of water is coming. On the other hand, people like me worry about water for concrete. Concrete is a material widely used in construction. Many would be surprised to know that concrete is the material most produced that is man-made. There is no other material that is produced more than concrete. So concrete requires a lot of water in different processes. A little bit during the cement manufacturing, we use a lot of stone or what we call aggregates in concrete. This is also, this has to be cleaned. We need water. And very importantly, water is needed to hydrate the cement. And the cement is what becomes the binding or the agglomerating material in concrete. Then we have to cure concrete, which is again done with water. And there are rough estimates which tell us that for every ton of concrete, we need about 400 to 1,000 liters of water. 400 being a very economic construction to about 1,000 liters of water for every ton of concrete. There are estimates also that for every square foot of building construction, any building that is constructed generally would consume in the whole construction process about 2,000 liters of water for every square foot. So these numbers look a lot, they look big, but let me make it worse when we think of what is the volume of concrete and construction we do. So again, when we think of water, we think of shortage. But we also know that we have to construct, we have to build. So this is a graph that I've taken from World Business Sources, which shows how the cement industry or the cement production has changed in India. India is the second largest cement producer in the world, second only to China. Therefore, we are also the second largest user of cement and concrete in the world. This graph tells us that our capacity is about 500 million tons of cement per year, and it could grow up to 1,000 million tons per year in 2050. So our capacity is about 500 million tons. We have used last year 337 million tons. This could reach 1,000 million tons or 1 billion tons by 2050. This implies that we have used 1,000 to 2,000 million tons of concrete in a year, and this could reach 5 billion tons. And if we can look, remember the numbers that I showed earlier, this gives us a staggering requirement of water, that we would need 3 trillion liters of water just to make concrete as much as we would want to or we may need to in the future. So this is a lot of water. This is a lot of water. And this again, I remind, or I think all of you are close to water, so you understand the importance of water. However, on the other hand, we need to build. 19 million households need homes, according to a 2012 report. 19 million households need homes. And this is because 80% of them live in very inadequate houses. Lot of them, 12%, live in obsolete, collapsing houses. Lot of them are on the street or in kacha houses. 15 to 30 million units of housing are required. So we have to build. There is no choice but to build. If we estimate how much square footage we have to build, almost we require 10 billion square feet to fulfill this requirement. That means again 20 trillion liters of water. So we find that always concrete is competing with people for drinking water, but we require concrete to give other requirements to people. So this is the paradox that we always face. To make things worse, our codes, this is a quote from the IS code on concrete, which says that water for concrete should be clean and free and should not have all these contaminants. And there is a statement saying potable water is generally considered satisfactory. So what do we do as good civil engineers and good teachers? We tell our engineers to use only water suitable for drinking in construction. And sometimes it is even said that for concrete, the water should be purer than what is used for drinking. And this is what is insisted on construction sites. So the question is there any other choice? Now, if concrete is so bad, can we eliminate concrete? This is a graph showing different construction materials. And of all the materials, steel and glass and plastic and aluminum and so on, concrete requires the least amount of water. So we don't seem to have any other choice. We have to live with concrete and we have to find out what to do about it to save on water. And this is of very severe consequences in many parts of the world. In India, we are very close to it. So these questions arise, which I have been asking our researchers and our teams to think of. Unfortunately, in an international atmosphere or international environment, people don't talk about so much of water for concrete. They talk about the environmental impact, the carbon dioxide content, but not about water. But the questions we have to ask, is it fair to use potable water? Do we really expect potable water to be used? And is water footprint not as important as carbon footprint that everybody talks about? So some of the aspects that I believe we should work on, and it'll be great if we can work with the center, and I've seen the great facilities that you have, is can we use partially treated water? Can we take water out of the sewer, out of the sewage, out of the effluents, so that we stress blue water less? We use more of gray water than what is going into the rivers. Can we develop materials that can tolerate the use of not very clean water? So we've started on it. We've done some trials and to establish the proof of concept. We have shown that partially treated water. We're not talking about drinking quality water, but just partially treated water. That would decrease the cost. We have found that it can give good results. We found that can even give better results than what is made with groundwater. We are planning to assess this with concrete plants and cement users, and eventually we'll have to scale up and get evidence that this is really good so that we can go to the court bodies and make a change. So thank you very much for giving me these few minutes. I really appreciate being here and with all of you.